So let's talk about snoring, because this is one of the major characteristics of people who do suffer from sleep apnea. And this is because of the fact that you snore because the passage of the air through your airway narrows and produces this sound. You have a small hole and you blow through. You hear that sound? When it's big, your airway has become tight, producing not the usual snore that people have. This is a little bit special. You heard it when we started the video. So people with sleep apnea do sort of like a breathe and then they get a sudden stop. You know, like when you have a hot knife cutting through a butter. Yeah, you can see I've got some few gadgets here. This is called a resmad airsence 11 machine, which I've been using for the last 6 months after being diagnosed with a medical condition known as obstructive sleep apnea. In this video, I wish to share my experiences just before I started using the resmad airsence 11 and my 6 months of using it too. So remember, I'm not a medical practitioner, I'm just a patient who's been using it. That is what I'm here for. So my language, maybe it's not like your doctor's, but I hope to share the relevant information. So before we go further, I would like to go through some of the small things that are crucial for you to understand about the whole situation, my condition, and this information is helpful, especially if you're just starting with the resmad airsence 11, or you know somebody out there who does snore a lot, maybe lose his breath. So this is basically your video. A big welcome. According to research, 4% of the middle-aged world population, ladies and men, do suffer from this condition, and there is a very big population out there who don't understand what's happening. And that's the situation that I went through before finally I got to start using this to make my life much better, improve the quality of my sleep, and make things around me workable. Here we're going to share information, get tips on what to look after before somebody can even start looking for medical advice. This is a CPAP machine, meaning continuous positive airway pressure. And so what this machine does is that it sucks in air through a filter in your room or wherever you're sleeping, in through the machine, the moisturized chamber, then blows it through the piping system to your gas mask. I'll just show you in a short while. By the end of the day, you end up sleeping with something like that. Men do tend to store more fats in their tanks, and that's why within the 4% there is a very high percentage of men. Now, what happens is that when you're going to sleep, usually your muscles, your body goes to sleep too, and your muscles collapses. Your tongue does collapse too because it's a muscle and sort of blocks the air passage in your throat or the airway. That's when you end up to have problem with your breathing, problem with taking in air, and this is a condition which I was diagnosed with, which is called obstructive sleep apnea. Because of the disturbance that you get it on the airway, it makes you wake up many hundred of times in a night without knowing, and if the condition isn't treated, it can lead to you suffering from heart attack, stroke, diabetes. You get extremely tired during the day, sleepy, very dangerous, especially if you're driving a car. So these are some of those situations that you may end up isn't treated. And so the compressed air from the CPAP machine sort of blows in through your nose and opens up this part, so there's a continuous flow of air into your lungs. So moving on, let's look at my situation before I got into the PAP therapy. And one of those things that really bugged me a lot was the idea of waking up in the morning and I'm extremely tired, no energy to do anything at all. Sleeping became a problem about 2-3 years ago. I mean, as in before the 6 months of the treatment. From nowhere, I started losing my voice totally in the morning when I wake up. This coincided almost at the same time when I got my corona jab, and so I left thinking that maybe that's what caused me to start losing voice in the morning, until later on when I realized it had nothing to do with that. After doing a lot of research, going to the throat clinic, I did find out that it could be associated with the fact that compressed air, then also the other and snoring and all that. So there was a lot of just commotion here because the problem came just in the morning. And then during the day, I will try to take lemon, take some warm water, water with salt, tea, mentioned. I tried everything, and somehow during the day, usually it used to clear. When I went to the throat clinic, or voice clinic rather, so they did go in with the camera, check on my throat, and the only thing the doctor saw was irritation. And he had a hard time to understand why, until after doing several consultations with him. One time I did explain to him about how my sleep usually is, and I actually did tape myself while sleeping, and I took that on my mobile phone to the doctor, who then referred me to the sleep clinic center, and that's where my problem was discovered. I work as a medical nurse, and so my job requires that I come to work when stable mentally, I know what I'm doing, able to make clear decisions, because we have people's life in our hands. So you cannot just come with your bad hangover from bad sleeping or wherever you are and be able to do a good job. So that was one of the biggest dilemma that I had. I just didn't know how to solve it, really. Being very tired in the morning. So the only option I had to do was, number one, I was trying to drink a lot of coffee, and the other thing, which became like my religion every day in the morning, was to drink 2 cans of Red Bull. I did that for about 2 years and became addicted to Red Bull, and more so expensive affair. I remember several situations where I was working on the computer and suddenly I just fall asleep. And until you experience it, you don't know how sad you become, how frustrated you are, and the people around you might not even understand. You are in the office, people expect you've slept, you're fresh and all that, and then suddenly you're sleeping. When you snore, you don't really realize how deep it is. You may know that you're snoring, but you don't know how deep or how bad it sounds until the people around you inform you. It could be your spouse, your family. These are the crucial people when it comes to informing you about your sleep. And for me, it was my housemate and my family. So they did describe it as a very high type of snoring, funny sounds, and at times they also had this when I stopped breathing, you know, because it's very sudden. So they thought maybe I'm going to die or I'm dying. It's a therapy which is workable, and the results are like effective. They start almost immediately. The first night you sleep with it, you see that the effects are very good. I did also go through some fears with myself before I got to using it, and the fear of sleeping with all these machines on your face. This is not how we're used to sleeping every day. Everything we do is just in our mindset, So I really had to work with myself, accept the fact that you're going to use it, look at the positive side, what you're going to get through as compared to you sleeping without the resmad airsence or any other type of PAP therapy. So the other type of feeling that I got when I started with the machine is the fact that I got this itchy, cold feeling on my throat or down the airway, and that was because of the fact that I had my windows open. It was during winter, and so this cold air coming in was too much, and so it gave me that burning effect. But this machine does have this the moisturized compartment, which sort of warms the water. So it's something which went over. What I just tried to do is have my room temperatures when I'm sleeping. Everybody has their own style of sleeping, and so there are people who turn a lot, like in my situation. And so when I'm sleeping with the mask, I did like a turn around and sort of loosens all this, loosen the face mask in some ways, and because of the pressure coming in, so it blows through like this and right direct into my eyes. So I did have a problem of waking up with red eyes in the morning. One time it was really bad, so I got to go to the eye clinic. But then for the 6 months, I've learned to try and have so much harmony when I'm going to sleep. Eat very light food. I reduce my risk of turning so much in bed. 40 degrees angle when I'm sleeping, and that has made the idea of the mask loosening not so much. I mean, it's become better. I've not experienced it with the eye problem anymore, but I think it's a situation which can most likely come when you just start using the resmad airsence 11. Everybody has this different type of pressure depending with their body, with their condition. So I did experience that at times I woke up with a dry nose, dry mouth and all that, but the Sleep Apnea Center did adjust the pressure, which inclines perfect with my pressure, and I've not been able to experience more problems. For 6 months I've not even touched a Red Bull, and I don't even want to see it. That's how good it has become. So I take coffee more for social reasons. The minimum time is 4 hours a night, but the best results you get when you use it when you're sleeping. Even when you're having a siesta, it's good to use it because your brain is going to take a rest even during your siesta. So I would recommend just using it as much as you can. Thanks for watching. I hope to do more videos on this as we get more experience and all that. I hope the information was relevant, especially if you're new on this game. Good luck, and it's worth the trial. Thank you, and